What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Rossie's Clubhouse. I'm your girl, Rossie. I'm the host of the show. You guys know that I always bring you the best in Sacramento, okay? And you all know on every video that you watch, and by the way, guys, thanks for watching the video. Please hit the like, please share so that you can help us grow. But you guys always know I'm always talking about a female artist, okay? So we had our girl, actress Taylor Brummett come on. I've been looking for a female artist, rap artist, singer to come on. And thank you, Yums Awkward. Thank you so much. Because of you, I was introduced to Hayla V. Hayla, thank you for coming to the Clubhouse. Tell the folks, and you can, this is going to be your camera. That's your camera right there. Tell them just a little bit about you right now.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name's Hayla V. Born and raised from Sacramento, California. Just been in the game for I'll say 2 years now, so I'm still fairly new, but we coming. Hottest thing out of Sacramento.
Absolutely. And we're going to get into, Hayla's music and all that good stuff. But right now, we were having a conversation because Hayla she's the oldest of 6. She has little brothers and little sisters. And we were just talking about the fact that one of her little brothers is starting to have a little interest in music, just a little bit, but he dances. So we're going to go back into that conversation. You were telling me, though, about y'all vibing last night to the music.
Yeah, I was procrastinating. I should have been doing some homework, but I played an instrumental instead. And, boys that have a stereotypical music that they listen to. Right. And I actually played this really mellow, soft, almost Janae Aiko type of vibe song. Yeah. And then my little brother, he started vibing. He started hitting a little dance. And I'm like, PJ, what you doing? And he's like, no, this is chill. I'm rocking with it. Right. So I was like, that's the first time he's ever shown actual interest in my music. Right. I told you I've been doing this for 2 years now. Right. Started releasing music. It's the first time he's ever shown interest. Okay. And I'm like, okay, let's explore this. So I started singing it, and I hear him humming with me. So I was like, this is so adorable. This is so cool. So I was like, okay, PJ, hop on the track. Let's see what you got. Right. So he started singing. Now he was like, my name is PJ. Was it bars? No, not at all. But I'm gonna let him have his moment. It was still cute. Right. And then my other brother, Gary, I'll call him G Breezy because he light skinned, he can sing, he can dance. He's also into it. But yeah.
That's awesome. You were saying that though, you got into this because when you were younger, you went to the camp that you went to. Tell us a little bit about that, how that music influenced you to do what you're doing now by going to those camps.
Oh yeah, what's actually funny is I did do music when I was younger, but it did not influence me doing music now. Okay. I'll get into that after I answer your original question. Okay. But so I was in choir when I was a little girl. Started in elementary school. I was in the 2nd grade. And I joined the choir, and every summer there was a music camp that they were inviting people to. So they invited me personally to the camp. However, I'm the oldest of 6. At the time, it was only 3 of us. But I was like, hey, I can't go if you don't bring my siblings with me. Right. So with that being said, me, Ajane, and Gary, for the next 10 years, they did 11. Once I turned grown, I stopped going. Okay. But consecutively going to this music camp, which was also, it's a good exposure, exposed me to different music because it's not rap, it's not R&B, it's actually more classical opera choir type of vibe. Right. But it definitely exposed me to different types of music. It was pretty fun, but it was a great experience. I could be like, hey, can my siblings come? Right, and we had this bonding moment every summer for years, basically.
That's dope. What got you into music other than that, though? Because you said that wasn't what inspired you, but you still got into music at what age were you I'm going to do this shit? This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, most definitely. I would say, so I've always been a musical person. I've always listened to music. I can always hum or do some type of beat, but it was all playful. Even in high school, I got best rapper in my yearbook, but it was just because I was being funny and battle rapping and freestyling. Okay. Basically, I didn't start writing until 2020. Now, everyone who experienced 2020, y'all know. Yeah. It was a year. No, it was a year. So, I had just stopped playing sports. My bad. But I had just stopped playing sports, and I just didn't have any more outlets. Okay. So I started writing to get my feelings out. Okay. It was a form of therapy, and I was actually writing in secret because I was not confident in my writing at all. Okay. It was my friends who were listening to me, and they was like, Hayla, this is this is hard. And people don't believe me when I tell you that confidence that I have now that I show in my raps, all that was not here. Like, I would be rapping a song, then halfway through it, I'd be like, oh, I gotta stop. Really? Like, yeah, they really had to push me and be like, Hayla, like, you're good. Hayla, this is fire. So after, like, them doing it for a year, I came back Christmas break from my school, from my Riverside break, and I went to the studio. So then when I went to the studio, I finally heard myself back. And that's when I was like, oh, you know what? I might be able to do this a little bit. Right. So that's when I started getting into it. And then I came to Sacramento and I started performing. And that's when I started seeing the progress in the world really coming into me. But at first, music was not a part of the goal. Like,
what did you want to do then? What was it? I know what are you in school for?
I'm a sociology major.
Are you?
Yeah. So regardless of what I'm doing, I'm gonna be working with people, basically. I honestly didn't know what I wanted to do. But like I said, I've always been a people person. And sociology is just naturally interesting to me. Like, it really explains how society impacts the individual and what makes you who you are, and like a lot of social problems. So that's always been interesting to me. So that's kind of just what I got into.
Well, I have to tell you guys, I heard this song by Hayla V. It was with Yum's Awkward, and it was called Capsize.
Yeah.
How did you two link up? How did you come up with this song? Whose song was, like, tell us about that, because I honestly... that is a dope song. Zach and I were just talking about the song because he heard and he was like, yeah, she's really good. She's really talented. How did that happen? You know, the craziest thing, that song was not, that was the most spontaneous thing ever. So I had just came from Sacramento. I came from Riverside to Sacramento. I had a headlining show, but me and EG, we've been working together recently. And I ran into Yums literally the day I got to Sacramento. And Yums is on the same team, Mendez Entertainment. Shout out to Mendez, EG, and Yums, and the rest of the team. And... like, me and Yums, we were just talking, we were hanging out, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna go to EG's. And he was like, oh, I'll slide with you, because I don't drive. So he drove me there. So I was like, okay, cool. So we finished my track. The Hala did it, the one that I just dropped. And EG is just playing beats at this point. And then that beat comes on, and Yums just starts going. I'm plotting on, actually, hold on, let me run it back. So what had happened was EG played it, and me and Yums just got quiet. Like, it just got real quiet. So EG, he was like, I'm finna turn this off. Y'all not feeling it. And we was like, nah, we like that. Hold on, like, what you doing? So then I started writing a verse naturally, and so did Yums. And when Yums started writing his verse and he starts going, I'm looking at all like, oh, snap. Because I really got some love for Yums. Like, I really think he's such a dope artist. And he's really put me under his wing and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, this is hard. And I'm a little intimidated at the same time. Not too much, because I know I'm hard. But I was like, you know, like, at the same time, I was like, this is pretty dope, right? But as he's talking and he's rapping, I'm writing mine, and I was like, this don't need another verse. So I was like, let me write a hook. So that's when I was like, stop that shit. Took him out the picture, had to. So after I did all that, even then I was still like intimidated. So like when Yums was going, I just kind of just stood there and watched. And he was like, Hayla, didn't you say you had a hook for me? And I was like, I mean, I kind of got something for you. So then after that, I hopped on the mic and then I did the hook, and he was like, oh no, we keeping that. And then he did his second verse. The second verse is my favorite part of the song, honestly. And then it just went from there. And next thing you know, we had a whole song, but that was not supposed to happen. And then the next day, because I was only out here for 2 days, so I was like, Yums, like, whatever you want to do with this song, like, I'm rocking with you. Like, how you want to go about this? And he was like, okay, well, let's do a video. So then I had a show Sunday. We recorded this Saturday night. Friday night, had my show Saturday. Sunday, So Sunday, I had my other show, and then I literally left my show, made the video with Yums, and then went back to Riverside. So then after all that happened, all the aftermath, like the videos and the promotion, we talked about it, and it just went from there. But that song is truly a banger. That song is absolutely a banger. Love that song. Your hook is dope. That's why I made sure I played that hook, which is absolutely dope. But your new album, what was the inspiration behind that? It's let's see, Hayla did it. Yes, it's just a single right now. But so EG had reached out to me a while back, because how me and EG met is the Guild Theater had an amateur night. And it was actually the first one. So when I was coming into this amateur night, people were telling me like, oh, you going against
E.G., you going against Drew, Loverboy Drew, and a whole bunch of real names. So people didn't expect me to win.
And you won that.
Yeah, I did. People didn't expect me to win, which wasn't a problem because honestly, me personally, I love being underestimated.
Okay.
So I came in there, and of course, I brought my peoples and my support team. And as I told you before, it's pretty big, right?
Right.
So I showed out and I performed, and my team, they backed me up, and I ended up winning. So I think that's what impressed E.G. And he reached out to me, and he was like, "Hayla, like let's start working together." So I was like, "Okay," but I'd be busy with school, so it took me a minute to really get back to him. But he was still on me, like, "Hayla, like, let's do this. Send me some vocals. So finally, I had some time, and I sent them on my iPad. Like, it was real. It wasn't nothing fancy or nothing. And E.G. made a beat to my vocals, and then he sent it back to me while I was in Riverside. Just before I came back out here for my opening show that was in September or October. Yeah, it was October. And I'm listening, and I'm at ASP. That's where I work on campus. And I'm like, hold on, this got a little bass to it. So then after that, I was like, oh yeah, as soon as I touch down in Sacramento, we're re-recording this. So I came to Sacramento that night. I hit up EG, and we recorded. Hayla did it, and then after that, it was just a wrap from there. But it's such a fun song.
I love your live songs that you do. I saw on your page you do a lot of live, and you have like a whole nother different personality, a whole nother different voice because you sing, but you also have like this reggae type of, I don't know, it's like this sound in your voice on one of the songs. Do you sing? I mean, do you have songs where you just sing? I mean, how is that?
Yeah, I have songs where I do everything basically. Like there's songs where I just sing, there's songs where I just rap, there's songs where I do both.
Right.
The V stand for versatile. So I really like I really like to switch it up, but I started off singing. Like I've been singing since I was a little girl in choir. I wasn't never super confident in my voice, but I was always someone who sang. It's really rapping that nobody expected me to do. Like my family, they never expected me to be a rapper. So they was like
singing, but rapping, that's just like...
and I was cussing. My dad was like, hold on, who is this? Who is this? But once they heard the vision behind it, they was like, oh, I can get behind this.
Right.
But I just basically just go with how I feel. The music really comes to me like sometimes a beat will come to I'll see a beat and I just start going on it. Or sometimes, like I said, my music is really, if I'm singing, that's more so I'm talking about real stuff. I'm really getting into it. Or when I'm rapping, that's more so like my alter ego. Like I'm having fun, hyping myself up. I'm the hottest in the room type of vibe.
Right.
But there'll be times where like I'll wake up and I'll hear a beat and all the words will just flow onto the page because that's how I was feeling, and that's just how it works. But as far as like singing goes, I say I do have like certain singing techniques. Like there's some times where I'll sing a little softer on the part and sing a little louder because I want that what's the word? Like I want to boost it basically. Like I want to emphasize a certain part of the song. But I definitely do different stuff with my voice and on certain songs on purpose.
I noticed that, and I didn't know that. Until I was going through more of your page today and looking, I'm like, oh my gosh, she sings. I didn't know she sings. You're excellent. What's the process like when you write or you're singing? Like, do you have a certain process? Your writing, your creativity. Like, is there something you listen to? What motivates you?
I have been like, I think one thing that definitely helps me as a writer is I listen to all types of music. So that's the first thing. Like I said, I went to music camp consecutively for 10 years that played like classical and more opera type music. And then when I was a little kid, we had the rock band, guitar, drums. Of course, I was on the mic. So I got exposed to rock music at a young age. My granny, she had a big part in my upbringing. So I got exposed to old school music. My dad, he listens to those real rappers. That's why Lil Wayne's my favorite rapper. So
girl,
I'm saying.
Oh my gosh, like Lil Wayne. What? 14, see this kid. Block is hot. And not only that, he's animated. So with the animation and you're watching him and the way he can just take a word and flip this word and just, I love Lil Wayne. And you know what? I'm so proud of him because with all the new artists that's come out, you know, after a while, they get buried. Yeah. He stayed atop and afloat the whole time and letting you know he is the GOAT.
Most definitely. There's no question about it. Like, Lil Wayne is up there. Have you heard his new album with 2 Chainz he just dropped?
No.
Girl,
No, I have the Holly Grove. That one was. Have you heard the Holly Grove? That's like the first one that he had when 2 Chainz came out, and he released Holly Grove. You gotta listen to Holly Grove. From the first song to the last song, it's really good. But no, I have not heard.
I'm gonna
add
that to the queue right now.
Please, Holly Grove.
Yeah, they just dropped a whole new project, and there's not that many skips on there. But I'm biased because, like I said, I love Lil Wayne. But if you listen to my music and you pay attention to like my raps, you can hear the Lil Wayne influence most definitely.
I was gonna ask you about that because sometimes comedic things can influence your music. And so how we're talking about how Lil Wayne's very animated. He can make you laugh sometimes at some of the things. Tell me about that with you, because you have a lot of that when you in Capsize, with the chorus, you'll stop and you know what I mean? So you got that little animated, type of. Tell me about that with you.
I think, like I said, there's definitely a Lil Wayne influence, like the punchline bar for bar. Yeah. But the animation and some of the punchlines, that's just me. Like I try to showcase myself in my music as often as possible. So like I said, when I'm singing, that's when I'm talking more like serious stuff. I'm talking like more emotions or more feelings. But when I'm rapping, the punchlines, that's how I talk in real life. I'm real clever. Just like how I got best rapper in my yearbook, I got best comebacks as well. So that's just something that I do. And like the jokes, it's just me being funny, trying to show like who I am, be authentic. The faces and stuff like that. Like I said, because I want to draw attention to certain lines. Yes. So it's like in Capsize, when I was like, get off my dick. I really want y'all to be like, oh, hold on, Hayla really got some personality to her, basically.
You do. You absolutely do. Let's see. I wanted to ask you about other, like, being a female artist in the industry. How has that been for you in these short 3 years that you've been like professionally doing this?
I would say being a female artist in the industry is very humbling.
Okay.
And I'll say that because when especially in my case, I never had the goal of doing music and being a rapper. Like all this stuff just came to, like the rapping, the singing, the Hayla V, all of that stuff. It just happened. Right. So when I started doing this, I just had the goal of making music and just dropping it. I'm talented. If you like it, you like it. Right. But that's not the case. The music is an industry. Right. So there's business behind it and there's also people behind it. Yes. But when you're a female, I feel like there's more stratifications in there, most definitely more problems, of course, because you will get treated a certain way because you're a female. Right. Men will approach you. Sometimes they'll think like, sometimes I'll get approached and I'll be like, oh, this person think I'm dope. And then that's not what they want. Right. Which really sucks because honestly, humbly, of course, I'm super talented. Right. My talent speaks way too much for someone to approach me like they care about my talent. And they don't. Right. Also, I'm young as well, so people undermine what I'm thinking, or they'll try to make me second guess. I'm very sure of myself in a lot of aspects, so it doesn't really work. But people will approach you a certain type of way just because you are a female in the game. So it's a little upsetting, but I don't allow it to upset me because, like, it is what it is. You just gotta keep it pushing.
It is what it is. Yeah. Someone asked me that too. I was doing an interview and one of the questions was, how do you handle being a female as a podcaster and dealing with men? And so I kind of get that too, because, when a guy compliments you, and some podcasters that are, a lot of them are men, they're really good. And, I tend to look up to them. So when they approach you, you're thinking, oh my God, they saw my thing. Exactly. And then you realize, they're like, well, how are you doing? How are things going? And you're talking business. Yeah. And they're not trying to talk business. And then it's like, damn. But I find that, I can be sweet and soft, but I can also be assertive. And there's some times where you have to just, be assertive. Who's your favorite? Who influenced you as like a female artist? Do you have Nicki Minaj or something? You know what I mean? Do you have artists like that?
Oh, most definitely. Okay. First of all, I just want to say the female artists recently are killing the game. Yes. Like, we are definitely taking over. Right. And I am loving that so much. Okay. But I take influence from literally all of them. So Nicki Minaj, Cardi, Meg, Glorilla. I really like Glow. Yes, yeah. Just because of how true to herself she is. Right. and let me see, Lauryn Hill.
Oh,
I'm a bigger fan of her R&B. I'll say that impacted me more. But when she started spitting in certain songs, like that poetry, it really get to me. So, I listen to a lot of female artists. Sorry, y'all. But those are probably the most that I listen to.
Right. I have to say for me, I remember, obviously I grew up with, of course, Little Kim's and Queen Latifah's and artists like that. Missy Elliott came out and totally just blew me away because, I mean, Missy was doing something that other female artists weren't doing, and she's very creative, with all her videos. But then when you have like a Lauryn Hill and she's with the Fugees, and Fuji Law, and that comes out, and she was an actress. But when she dropped that Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, changed my whole life, my whole everything she did, the interludes. Absolutely love Lauryn Hill, and to see her today, because she's back performing today and all that. Absolutely big influence. And I see you like, I have to say, when I saw that you sung and you have kind of like that animation, like, you're Wayne, but also there's a lot of little Nicki in you, there's a little bit of Nicki in you. And I see that when I was watching, especially Capsize, and seeing that video, and then the other stuff that you do. You also mentioned, I saw something where you did, which is really dope. You did a, not a remake, but it was Big Pun. Not a Player.
Oh, my Sample Sundays.
Yes, your Sample Sundays. Yeah. Tell me about Sample Sundays.
Oh my gosh, I love Sample Sundays. I'm gonna just say those are probably one of my funnest songs, some of my funnest songs to make, because I think there's kind of like a debate, right, on whether, because a lot of people are sampling nowadays. So a lot of people, they'll be like, oh, well, this younger generation, they're not creative. They're not thinking of anything. They're taking the old stuff. But me personally, I feel like, you know how talented you have to be to take something that already is lit, popping, and make it sound like your own. Right. Like now, if you sampling something and it sounds just like that's a whole nother thing. Right. But I always love to do like a little spin, a little twist on like the samples. And it's just super fun. How I got into them was, like I said, when I was writing, I was just writing to write. So I've written over like 200 plus songs. Okay. And when I started recording, I noticed like, Hayla, you got a lot of samples to you, but that's also some real NorCal stuff. Like a lot of NorCal artists be sampling. But I was like, okay, so what can I do with these? Because now that I'm an artist, I'm starting to see like, business-wise, what am I able to do with certain songs? Because I'm at a level where I'm trying to like level up, so I can't just keep just doing stuff with music. I have nothing to do with. Right. So I was like, okay, if I make this some content on my page, then I can make it a series, and then I can bring up my followings and also share my music at the same time. I actually had just dropped Sample Sundays, some of the Sample Sundays on my SoundCloud, so they're out exclusively on there. I have Not a Player, Best You've Ever Had, which samples Tonight by John Legend. Okay. Love Doesn't Change, that samples Jeremiah. Okay. Not a Player, as we brought up. Love and Unthinkable, which samples Unthinkable by Alicia Keys. Right. But super fun.
Yeah, the Not a Player one, and obviously you wrote that. That was your freestyle. That's all yours. That was dope. That was really dope because I just thought it was just the music, and then I'm realizing that you're flipping basically what he said, but in your own words. It was really good. I really love that. That was excellent. What do you think about acting? Like you look like you should like step into that world as well.
You know what? If I wasn't a rapper, I probably would get into acting maybe one day.
Yes.
I took an acting class actually when I was my first year in Riverside, and it was pretty fun. I'll say acting is a whole nother, because basically in music, I feel like I'm taking and I'm writing and I'm showing the world what I have, right? But when you're acting, you're taking on a role, basically. Yes. And you have to embody and feel those emotions of somebody else. Yep. So it's definitely, shout out to all the actors, because that stuff is hard. Like, no joke about it.
Not easy.
But that's definitely something I can see myself getting into. Like, it was super fun. I actually got, basically how it was, if you got top 10 in the final scene, you didn't have to do the final. Okay. And I made top 10. So, Girl, Oscar, maybe. Just maybe.
Oh my gosh. Have you ever wrote a lyric or that you like was like, I don't know. I don't feel good about that. I want to change that. What if my daddy hear that? Yeah. Like, have you ever had one of those moments? No, seriously.
Definitely. Okay, first of all, let me just say, Shout out to Dad. Love you. My dad is the most overprotective dude in the world. Like, if it was up to him, he would wrap me in bubble wrap and keep me in a box for the rest of my life. Right? He does this thing. It's called dadding out. I tell him all the time, like, Dad, you're dadding out. So, like, even when I started rapping, because one thing about me is I don't rap about, like, I'm not like no sexual, super sexual rapper. I don't rap about all that, which is nothing wrong with it. That's just not what I rap about. I get that, yeah. So that was never a problem. But my dad hearing me cuss, I don't cuss. I'm the golden child. For real. Like, I'm really like the goody two shoes, like the pedestal child. Right. So when I was dropping Sleepwalking, like I cuss a lot. That's that Wayne in me. Like I cuss a lot in my music. And I was just watching him as it was playing. Because before I did the music, I told him, I was like, Dad, I got the support of everyone I needed before I showed the world. So I sat him down. I was like, this is what's finna happen. So you want to sit here and listen to it? You want to sit here and listen to it with me? And he was like, yeah. And like his face when I just started cussing, he was just like, what the? He just started tripping for real. Right. But I was good, so he couldn't be mad at it. But those was definitely lyrics where I was like, I don't know I don't know how he gonna respond to that one. But now he jokes about it. Like I had a show in Riverside. It's called Nooners. And because when you perform with the school, sometimes you have to not cuss. And he was like, they allowing you to cuss? And I was like, yeah, Dad, they is. He said, well, cuss up a storm. I was like, appreciate you, Dad.
How does your, like you're talking about your brothers and your sisters and all that. Just, and I'm going to ask you this because I just got back from visiting family in Merced and I haven't seen them in years. And so, but they've seen a lot of the stuff I've done online. So it's kind of like, my gosh, cousin, you're here. How do they react to that? Like when they see like your online presence, when they see your videos, do they trip like, that's my sister?
Almost. My support system, God has blessed me for real. My support system is great, whether it's friends or family. But my siblings, they're one of my diehards as well. Like I said, I didn't always have this confidence, but I could say that they always had this confidence in me. So when I was posting mood swings, and that was my first single, by the way, y'all, out on all streaming platforms. Yes. But when I was posting mood swings or just a sample Sunday, whatever I post, my siblings are the first ones, especially Gary. He's the first one to listen to it, the first one to repost it, the first one to be just if I have a show, and my siblings are there, best believe they're in the crowd, front row, crouched down, singing the lyrics with me, turning up. Like, my siblings are so supportive. As far as, like, that's Ajane and Gary for sure. They've always been supportive. Tori, PJ, they're a little younger. They're a little younger. So it was it's a little harder to see stuff out of them because, they don't articulate their emotions as much because they're so young. But like I said, PJ, he's starting to get into it. But, he a hater. So sometimes he'll be like, that's trash. But then I'll hear him singing mood swings. Like, come on now. You like the song. Tori, she likes to sing as well. She's getting more into it. So I could tell she's interested or she's fascinated by what I do because when I have shows or she tried to come here with me. I was like, you can't.
She really?
She did. Aww. But she's just going to sit here and be bored. So I was like, you can't come. Right. But they all have that support. Even my brothers, Caleb and Jaden, like, they don't come to every show, but the shows that they do come to, I always come up to them and I'll be like, what you think? Like, honest, humbly, I don't mind when people tell me what their opinions are because I already think I'm great. Right. Humbly, of course, but I think I'm great. Absolutely. So you can tell me, like, Hayla, that wasn't it. And I won't take no offense to it because that's just what it is. But they'll tell me and they'll be like, sister, that was amazing. Aww, and it's always those genuine responses that really touch my heart, for real.
So Hayla V in 5 years.
Hayla V in 5 years. It's a great question because I'm working on Hayla V now.
I know. No, I know.
Definitely I see myself becoming bigger as an artist, right? Because right now I'm a student in academic sense, right? This is my last year, so I'm gonna be graduating soon. Thank you. Thank really you. Good. But after I graduate, I plan to come back to Sacramento and make myself a student in the game instead. Right. So I want to build my character as an artist, a lot of growth. Of course, shows and streams, all that's cool, but I want to build myself as a brand, as an artist. So how am I going to do that? I'm still learning. I'm still new, but I definitely see myself further than where I am.
Yeah, it's happening. Like it's like I promise you, it is so happening. I feel about you when I first saw and met Yums, like in his music, and just like, oh my gosh, Lil Six, there's a lot of talent here in Sacramento. And I'm going to ask you the same question I ask every artist that come on. What's the difference between Sacramento artists and Bay Area, if you notice any difference or if there's any difference?
You know what? When I was doing my homework on you, I seen that you was asking rappers that. And I was like, what do I say to that? But in all honesty, I don't think I listen enough to Bay Area rappers, or know that they're from the Bay, to have that difference. Because when I hear somebody, I automatically just are they from NorCal or SoCal?
Okay.
Because when I go to school with SoCal artists, I mean, not SoCal artists, like in SoCal, obviously, I've been exposed to so many SoCal artists. So I don't see the difference between Bay Area and Sac. I really just see the difference between SoCal and NorCal.
Okay.
If you were to ask me what the difference to that would be,
please,
I would say is NorCal has that more like hyphy, that more a lot of Sacramento songs, they got that don't in there, and you'll hear that in my songs, versus SoCal, which is like, I say the music is way more laid back, relaxed, and you could tell by the dances. Like the NorCal, I'm a sneeze, I'm gonna get hyped, turn up, but in SoCal they dance like this to the stuff. It's really more relaxing, laid back. Don't get me wrong though, they be coming hard though. They be talking they stuff, but there's definitely a difference there. But what I'll say is great about me listening to NorCal artists like most of my life, and then coming to Riverside and experiencing, being exposed to so many different types of artists, is now I calibrate that into my music. Like I put that in my music as well. So I feel like you guys haven't heard it yet, but it's coming. I have like NorCal flow, but I also incorporate a SoCal flow in there as well. I call it NoCal. Working on the name. Working on the name, so let's not keep that. But yeah, it's pretty dope.
Okay, so I'm going to mention this really quick. We have Hayla V here, and Hayla V has a new album that was released 11/11/2023 called Hala Did It. You guys can get that you're on all
streaming platforms.
All streaming platforms, okay? Also, I just want to mention some of the songs. She has a song out with Yum's Awkward called Capsize. It's absolutely dope. You guys get that song. The video's up online right now. All her info will be in the description, so check that out. I also want to mention the Red Book Chronicles that you did last year. You can also get that. And we have Closure, PTSD, which I freaking love. I was going to cuss, but I really love. Sleepwalking, Do It For the Family, Pretty. Yeah. That was and 7 songs in that album. Do you want to mention or?
Most definitely.
Yes, please.
Let's talk about the Red Notebook Chronicles. Yes. I would love to, because that was my baby. That was my first little project as an artist. Let me just start with the name. Okay. The Red Notebook Chronicles is called the Red Notebook Chronicles because, like I said, y'all, I was writing in secret for like a year. And I have a binder of red notebooks. Like I was just writing everything in these red notebooks. So it was only right to call it the Red Notebook Chronicles. But if you listen to the music in Red Notebook Chronicles, I didn't rap as much. That was mainly singing because back in the day when I was writing, I was just writing to get my emotions out. So if you listen, like even the titles, Mood Swings, Closure, PTSD, I'm talking about mental health. I'm talking about my life experiences. And I love that so much because when people hear these songs, they feel those emotions themselves and they can relate to them in their own ways. And I'll always get back like, Hayla V, like Mood Swings? That's that one. Yeah. I be crying. I was like, okay, I wasn't trying to make you cry, but I'm glad we here with
absolutely.
it. Or just Do It For the Family. That's another song. So like I said, I'm a first generation college student. Do It For the Family is the first song I wrote when I was driving down to Riverside. So that's a very emotional piece because I'm literally in the car. There's tears on the paper as I'm writing it. Yeah, because I talk about being first generation. I talk about missing my siblings. Because leaving Sacramento, of course, it was hard, but it wasn't hard. Because, like I said, I'm the golden child. They always knew I was going to leave. There was no question about it. But now that it was time, it was like, I'm the oldest of 6. I have a lot of siblings. My friend group, there's 6 of us in there as well. So I have a big community out in Sacramento. So even though I had to leave to pursue something else, I was leaving a lot behind. But there's so many people who can relate to that. There's so many first-generation college students who are the oldest. You ain't even got to be the oldest. You could just be a first-generation college student, but they relate to some aspect of that song. Like, Hala, like, this is it. So now that I'm finna graduate and I'm in my 4th year, I can perform in my cap and gown and perform that same song that I wrote on the way here. So it's like those full circle moments.
Absolutely.
But and then Sleepwalking on the Red Notebook Chronicles. I just had to throw something in there just so y'all know, like, I rap too. Like, I wanted it to be known off rip that, like, I do both. Like, I'm very versatile. Like, in the song, I said versatile. Can I cuss on this?
Go ahead, girl.
Okay, I'll make a show.
Yes,
I was like, versatile nigga. They say, Hayla, you so diverse. So before you talk crazy, I suggest you do your research. Like, I wanted it to be known. Like, I haven't showcased my rapping yet, but it's there. So I just wanted to sneak it in there. But Red Notebook Chronicles is definitely a project of mine, close to my heart. I want to eventually elaborate more on it and get more into it and make it a bigger thing. But hopefully we'll see how the future tells.
Well, hopefully we have a part 2. I'm sure we would. A Red Notebook Chronicles. Also, Hala did it. She has that's a single that's out, and I know that you'll have more because I know that you said you'll have more. And there was an unreleased. I think it was Mood Swings. Also the 911 for the 916. That's dope.
Oh yeah,
that is really, really. I really love that song. I love how you flipped that 911 for the 916. Where did you come up with that?
Man, I was in my apartment and I heard the beat. And I was like, oh, this is Sacramento for sure. So I started rapping on it. And I was just, when I rap, sometimes, like, I'm just, like I said, I'm showcasing my personality. So I really just be being funny. So I was like, you trying to find someone to play with? Better find one quick. And I'm starting fires in the booth. They trying to find one glimpse. And I said, fires. 911 for the 916. So then after that, like, I just kept going. And then, like I said, I'm just boosting myself up in the raps. So, like, the first verse where I'm like, told them, wait a minute, making banger straight collisions. Had to make revisions, want the smoke well they could get it. They be hating with it, pussy niggas faking with it. If you ask them niggas who, I bet they tell you Hayla did it. Y'all didn't even realize I just put y'all on to a whole nother song.
Hayla did it. Exactly.
And that's a lot of things that my music has that people don't notice. I have a lot of Easter eggs. So you have to know me to know certain things about my songs. But it was just a fun song. And once I heard, like, I don't know, once I heard the 911 and the fire, I was like, oh, I gotta pick up on that.
It was dope. It was dope. Guys, this is Hayla V. We finally got her to come in. You guys go, everything will be in the description. So go check out her YouTube channel. Her music is all streaming. Everything that she rapped to you, everything is here. I'm so happy that you came here. Any shout outs you want to do? Yes, and the list is long. So do your thing. Shout out to my niggas. That's the name of my group chat. So when I say my niggas in a song, I'm talking about them. That is Ray, Ayana, Jasmine, Malaya, Ayana. Wait, hold on. Sorry. Ray, Uriah, Ayana, Jasmine, Malaya, and then me. Shout out to all my siblings. So that's Caleb, Jayden, Ajane, Tori, Gary, PJ. Then me, because that's 6. Yup. Shout out UCR and my ASP Pro staff. And shout out to my roomie as well. Love all y'all. Oh, shout out to Granny. Shout out to Granny, shout out to Dad, shout out to Mom. Sorry, I told y'all my support system is big. So of course I gotta rep all of them. But yeah, shout out to all those peoples. And like she said, check out my music out on all streaming platforms. Yes. I do. If you are looking, if you are interested into my Sample Sundays, check my page out. Yes. But like I said, I have 5 of them already out on SoundCloud, planning to drop more. So let's just get into that. And yeah, I appreciate y'all for having me. My first podcast interview, how I do? You did really good. Her first podcast was with Rossie for Rossie's Clubhouse. You guys, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, you guys. Have a very safe and happy new year. We'll see you in the new year. You are our last show for the year. Oh my gosh. We waited for you to be our last show of the year. Oh, I'm honored. Thank you. You guys, please hit the like, please subscribe, and please comment, guys. That helps us grow, and that is absolutely free. So please do that, and we will see you in 2024. See y'all later, y'all.